So, as I was saying before, Einstein, not a material atheist. In fact, he was a Jew. And even more interesting than that, Einstein was a Jew at a particularly unsafe era in geography to be so. He came to America actually right before World War II escalated. And to him, the grand design of God seemed self-evident in the universe, in all that he saw around him. He could ascertain no significant contradiction between a belief in God and the scientific pursuits. Empirical science could only observe how the universe operated, but it said nothing about the source of origination. Relativity was eventually used to verify even the Big Bang Theory, which also gives no specific details about the originator, whether you want to call it a Big Bang or multiple bangs or whatever, the Big Bounce. It still gives no specific details about who or what is causing the bounce. So that makes any religious attacks on the theories, such forth as the Big Bang Theory, illogical. It is a process. Let's say creation happens by God. Well, that which is being created, the creation process, is a process in which we see. So, at any rate, the main tenet of relativity is that space-time calculations and the detection of absolute motion is actually relative to the frame of reference of the observer. In one classic illustration, a child in the back of a moving car is throwing a ball and catching it repeatedly. Throwing a ball up in the air, catching it repeatedly. Okay? From the child's perspective, as an observer, the ball is simply going up and down, right? Okay? Going up and down in a vertical motion, being caught. Now, the travel distance and speed can also be interpreted as a single dimension or axis line of velocity. This is not the case when you are more objectively viewing the situation from outside of the car. If you are looking through the side window as the car is passing by you, you're not going to see a ball moving up and down. What you're going to see is an arc of travel. As the car moves and the ball goes up and the car is moving, it comes back down, you're going to see an arc of travel. The ball still has vertical movement, but there is also a forward momentum that is not merely being thrown up and down in the same stationary place, or space, to be more appropriate. Such would only occur if the car perhaps were left at rest. But then, okay, so now you have a car that's at rest, and a person observing the car still only at rest relative to this spaceship planet Earth, which is traveling around the sun, which at the same point is traveling around the galaxy, and so forth and so forth and so forth. So even if the ball is held in place, so long as the car is moving, it too will possess motion viewable from a certain objective perspective. Being held in place, it's still going to be moving from viewed outside the car. So in short, velocity is relative to observation, and a vector measurement shows only relative directions of momentum. That makes sense. During Einstein's later, kind of more reclusive years of theorizing, many other developments in science occurred nearly oblivious to this hermit. In 1919, Ernest Rutherford discovered the proton. James Chadwick proved the existence of the neutron over a decade later. In the midst of this, Louis de Broglie defined the wave-particle duality of electrons and light vibrations, which was used to understand quantum leaps and superposition wave interference patterns. Not only did Einstein reject the quantum in his unification efforts, he also was unaware, I'll put this up, we had this up in the last video, he was actually unaware of two new fields or forces that were being added to the standard model, the S-strong nuclear force and the W-weak nuclear force. And these were never taken under consideration as he continued to use the same paradigm from his early adulthood over and over again. And now until the recent investigation of superstrings and M theory and brains and quantum loop gravity, the final vision of Einstein himself primarily died with him.